giving you useful and practical tips to help you make more money selling travel. This is the Art of Selling Travel Podcast, and here to guide you through it all, your host, Glenda Beagle.
Welcome back to another episode of Art of Selling Travel Podcast. I'm your host, Glenda Beagle, and I'm super excited to bring you this episode. Now, this episode is maybe a little bit different than some of the other ones. It's, well, let's be honest. It is like midnight the night before I want to release this episode. So yes, if you were listening to this on podcast release day, which is Wednesday, I was up here at midnight, Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, getting it done. Now, why? Well, because that's what we're going to talk about a little bit in this one. It's a fact that if you want to accomplish things, if you want to do things, you have to be willing to do hard things. For a number of weeks, it started off just by coincidence. I was just going along and realized that I had hit, I think it was like 9,800 steps. And then the next day I hit 10,000. And I thought, you know what? Let's do this. Let's see how long we can keep this going. And it wasn't about getting skinny or anything. I have come to accept the fact I am a curvy, full-figured woman, and that's fine. I do, however, want to make sure that I can keep up. I can have energy. I can have all these other sorts of things. So for me, it's about health. It's not about vanity and all of these other sorts of things. It's about actually having the health in order to have the mobility and whatnot, because I don't know about you, but there is a whole giant world out there to go and explore. And things were going great. I think I was like 24, 27 days in, like we were rocking it. We were doing 10,000 steps every day. And then one day I missed it by 58 steps. I knew I needed to do it. I knew how close I was, but I just got busy and I totally forgot to get back up and finish it. And at 12:01 a.m., I looked at my Fitbit and thought, oh, crap, no way. No. And I legit missed it by 58 steps. The next day, I got back at it and got going. But here's the deal. We can let things take us down. We could decide that 58 steps was what was going to be the end to it all. But no, I got going the next day. We can also decide, you know what? Is it really that big of a deal? Do I really need to do that today? Well, do you really need to grow your business? Do you really need to feed your children? What do you really need to do? This episode's called Magic Pills Don't Work. And there's a reason why I want to talk about that. Here's the scoop. I know that I'm not going to hit my health goals by getting my steps in, going from the couch to the fridge or to the freezer to grab some ice cream to go sit back down on the couch again. When I was looking at the last several months, it's been a rough few months, for those that, if you've been around for a while, that we've suffered some loss within our family. We've had a lot of stress and things like that. We're no different than possibly you, there's a very good possibility that you have had your own stresses, your own struggles, things like that. But when I looked at my Fitbit for the last however long, okay, I'm going to be honest. There were days I didn't even get to 2,000 steps. I'm going to cringe to tell you, there were the few days I didn't hit 1,000 steps. I don't even know how that's possible. I have the bladder the size of a walnut. Like, I was back and forth just to get that done. So the fact that I didn't even hit 1,000 steps, I feel as though I almost had to be comatose those days. So when I had accidentally got to that 10,000, I thought, wait, I could do this. And when I did it again, it was amazing. And then I did it again and I did it again. And all of a sudden I kind of got this momentum going. Now, was every day easy? Hell no. I assure you, they were not all easy. The best part of this story is the fact that the bulk of my steps, bulk of my days where everything was nailing it, was right in the middle of a heat wave. There is nothing like looking at your Fitbit after having been in the office all day to realize you still have 7,000 more steps to go. And it's 33 above. Okay, I don't know what that is in American. So if you are listening to me from the States, I'm going to say like 90 something. It's hot. And for this Alberta prairie girl, it's just hot. So there were a lot of nights at 11 o'clock at night, we took the dogs for the walk because there was no way I was going to get 7,000 steps in when it was still 33 above. That's not how this marshmallow rolls. It would have melted. So I had to make those changes in order to achieve what I wanted. You know, the saying goes, if magic pills were a thing, we would all be bikini body ready for summer. Well, honey, I'm never going to be bikini body ready. I'm okay with that. I've accepted that, but I'm doing it for my health. And so you might be asking, what is this ramble about? Well, here's the deal. As I was telling you, I was hitting my target, everything else. I missed it by 58 steps. The next day I hit it. That night I had an allergic reaction to something I ate. And wouldn't you know, it triggered me into this whole mess where I ended up with a lung infection. So just simply laying half comatose played my lungs out. So I went from hitting my targets every day for that 24, 27 days, just going, loving every moment of it because I knew I was doing it, to then not being able to get up to go to the bathroom without losing a lung because of the fact that I could not hardly breathe. You know, when you're in those moments, you realize how important all the other stuff is. It is about the health. It's not about the size of clothes you wear. It's about having the energy. It's about having the freedoms and all of those sorts of things. And the same can be said for so many other parts of our lives. Can be said about our businesses, can be said about all the other sorts of things. But here's where we're headed. While I was laying in my bed, I received an email from one of those other travel business coaches. And it was, create this reel to get more bookings. And I tell you, nothing has ever made me more angry just from an email. You can't just make a reel and bada boom, bada bing, brand new client's gonna book with you. Might it happen? There's like a 1 in 1,000, 1 in a million sort of chance. But that's not how it works. It's just sort of like if you take this pill, you are going to shed 27 pounds in a week. Well, wouldn't that be wonderful? Is it going to happen? Well, maybe 1 in a million. It might work for them for whatever reason. But is it going to work for you? I'm going to say odds are good. It's probably not. And here's why. Just simply making a reel, especially if it's got you dancing around and things like that, that's not enough. Doing it one time, one reel, one post, one anything is not enough. That is not going to tell your clients or potential clients who you are, why you're the authority, why you're somebody that they need to be listening to, why it is that you are the right one to look after them, to keep them from making mistakes, to help them in order to choose the best possible options for them. It's not the reel that gets you the bookings. It's the consultation. It's the relationship. It's the hard work. It's going through the objections. It's breaking through the barriers that your clients have put into place. It's making sure that you understand what it is that makes your clients tick. It's understanding what it is that your clients need to be so that they can say yes. Is making that reel going to get you an inquiry? Quite possibly. But it's really important that we understand the difference between an inquiry and a booking. Heck, it's really important we understand the difference between an inquiry and a comment. Just saying, oh, wow. There's somebody tagging, oh, wow, Jim, we need to go there one day. That's not an inquiry. That's just somebody making a comment. And yet so many travel advisors, because they're being led by all of these magic pills and magic beans and everything else, are like, oh my goodness, I got an inquiry. Somebody wants to do this. Why aren't they booking? I went to all this work because they said they want to go there one day, and now nothing. It is so absolutely important that we understand the difference between a client who is genuinely interested and intrigued and wants to move into a conversation so that you can work at conversion versus somebody who just in a fleeting moment says, hey, that looks cool. It is so absolutely important when we're looking at the buying cycle of our clients that we understand that. Why is a reel not going to suddenly get you bookings? Well, here's the deal. What some of those travel coaches don't know, what some of those marketing people don't understand, what some of the people who have never actually sold travel don't get is that your clients are on a cycle. Travel is not something that they buy like they buy a lipstick. If you want to do a dancing reel and put on some fancy lipstick and everything else, yes, I guarantee you're going to be able to sell lipstick. But you can't take those same principles and move that over to the travel industry. And yet people who don't understand what it actually means to sell travel are going to try and teach you that because that's their magic pill. They don't know any better. They don't actually know how to sell travel. And if they don't know how to sell travel, how can they teach you how to sell it, how to get clients, how to actually get people who are willing to book? They can't. They have magic pills that 1 in a million is going to help, that 1 in 1,000, it may work, or some variation thereof. But it's a magic pill. And instead, you need to have mentors and coaches and people who understand what it means to do the hard work. Because if they're promising you something amazing just for doing this one reel, and you're going to get all those bookings, it is so absolutely important for you to understand that that's not going to do it. Is it going to add to your possibilities? Yes. Should you be doing reels? Yes. Should you be making posts on social? Absolutely. Should you be sending out emails? Most definitely. But is doing just one thing one time going to do it? Hells to the no. Owning your own business, being in sales. And yes, if you sell travel, you are in sales. I am so sorry to tell you that. It is a sales role. Does not matter how many times you help people, no matter how many times you plan things, you, my friend, are in sales. But you need to look at the fact that your clients are going through these buying cycles. They're not going to buy that lipstick just on an impulse. Very little travel is bought on impulse. Now, you might be able to start piquing an interest on impulse. You might even be able to start scratching an itch that they have. It's been a while since they've gone somewheres. But here's the deal. They probably don't go every second week like they would go out to dinner at the local restaurant or go out to the local movies. This is something for a lot of people that they're saving up for, whether it's weeks or months or years. And one single reel is not going to do it. So, my question for you is, what is the hard thing that you've been putting off? What is your version of sitting on the couch, chomping on ice cream, expecting your health to improve that you're doing in your business? Are you picking up the phone? Yes, I mean that thing where you dial in the numbers and actually talk to human beings not waiting for them to reach out to you, but in fact, actually reaching out to them. Reach out to past clients, give them a call and just say, hey, just checking in. It's been a little while since we've gotten anything booked for you. I know last time we talked, you were thinking about going to Costa Rica. You were thinking about going to Thailand. You were thinking about doing a river cruise, whatever it is. And just let them know you've been thinking about them. Let them know that you're here to help them when they're ready to go. And what are the odds that they might be ready to go now? If you think you can build an entire business on magic pill strategies or tactics, actually, they're not even a strategy, they're just simply a tactic, I'm here to tell you it's not going to work. Will you see some results? Yeah, you might. You might even get inquiries. But the likelihood of expecting a single reel or a must-do reel being what it takes to get booked clients, there are so many things missing in between. Just tonight, actually, I got tagged in a post for a local restaurant here in my community. Somebody that I know, another business owner, tagged me and said, hey, can you help them? What can you suggest that they do? Well, this business is about to open. They're not open yet. And they're doing that same magic pill treatment that so many other do. I'm sure you've seen it if you've ever been on Facebook. Like our page, share to your community, and tag a friend, and you're gonna win. Well, guess what happens? Yeah, somebody else is going to clone your page. They're going to send a link. They're going to set up a link where it asks for their credit card so that they can win their prize. And now there was a meltdown. Oh my goodness, how do we stop this? So that is actually what this other business owner said. How do they stop this? And I said, well, they stopped doing like, share, and follow contests. Instead, set it up to go to an email. Take it off of social. Don't just go for that super low-hanging fruit and think that that's how you're going to build your business. You want to put out quality content. You want to put out things that are going to work. I know that they're just doing it because they've seen everybody else doing it. But here's the thing. Just because it's working for some, or just because somebody else is doing it, does not mean it's actually working. Doesn't mean it's working for them. And it doesn't mean it will work for you. We need to take some time and really and truly come up with what is it going to take. When I owned my own physical location, it was a brick and mortar agency. I was the queen of yes. If you came to me and tried to sell me marketing ad space, I am embarrassed to tell you, I would have said yes. I spent tens of thousands of dollars without having a way to track it, without having a metric for it, without having a plan, an actual strategy. I was filled with tactics because I thought, I'm sure this one will work. I know this one will work. And why? Because I had people that did not have a flipping clue about the travel industry try and teach me about marketing and try and teach me about things that had absolutely nothing to do with it. I love selling travel. I love the travel industry. I love everything that goes into it. I love that we are not retail. But yet as a travel advisor, you're retail. I love that travel advisors are professional services, yet not recognized as professional services. We kind of straddle the lines between being a store and being this professional office type of a business. There's not a lot of industries that are like that, where we're almost a chameleon and can morph from one to the other. But here's the deal. With that means that we have kind of a different rule book, because our people aren't just looking for that once, that one and done sort of thing. Like they're looking to build a trip. They're not looking for what they can do today. We're looking to build long-term relationships with our clients. We're looking to actually listen to our clients. I'm going to give you a little bit of my insider tip today. The number one place for referrals of your next vacation comes from your clients during the consultation. There were so many times, I couldn't even tell you, that I would meet a client for the first time and I would know what the next 5 vacations were going to look like because I had conversations with them. I built relationships with them. Heck, I can't even tell you how many times we booked 2 and 3 vacations at the same time. You know, we'd be booking the one that's going to leave in a couple of months or a couple of weeks because it was cold and they were going to go down to the sun. And then we started talking about the things that were bigger and more grand and things like that. Maybe they needed to be a 2-year down the line. But because I got to know them, because I had those conversations with them, I was able to start the process of getting that booked all at the same time. It's not just about doing it for price. It's not just about putting up something fancy and shiny. I've said it dozens of times, probably dozens of times on the podcast. And if you've been listening to all of my episodes, which, you know, I get so many messages in my DMs on Insta. Thank you. First off, just thank you. But you've probably heard me say it. There is no trophy. There is no prize for being the second cheapest. Do not compete on the price. And yet that's what so many will do. It is hard work to be more expensive than a competitor. It is more work to charge fees when the agency down the street or the person on Facebook isn't charging fees. But guess what? It's completely doable. And more importantly, it makes a far more profitable agency. And when your business is profitable, you're going to be able to give your clients so much more confidence because they know you're still going to be here when they get back. They know you're still going to be in business when they run into a problem. All of these different sorts of things. That's some of the things that come along with doing the hard work. So I want to say thank you for listening to my soapbox presentation today. This one just really got under my skin on so many levels. I genuinely, my heart breaks when I see people fall for scams, when people who follow people who just simply don't know what they're doing, who just try to make it sound good. They can make it all sparkly and magic. But I'm going to tell you, full out, a profitable, successful business, whether you're in travel or not, is not built on magic pills. It is built on doing the hard things that other people simply aren't willing to do. The most successful people in this planet did the hard stuff. They did the stuff that nobody else was willing to do. That's how they got to where they want to go. You can't just simply replicate what somebody else is doing. You're not at the same spot they are. And I think that's really one of the things that stands out. Having all these years of experience in the travel industry, of having sold travel, for nearly 2 decades, is I get to see who actually understands it at a genuine fundamental level, who knows what the process looks like, who knows what it's like to deal with those obstacles, those objections, who knows what it's like to go through the buying cycle with their clients, who's ridden the ups and downs and everything else, versus somebody else who has no clue what they're doing. They just think it would be super fun to be in the travel industry. And instead, they're going to watch the social feeds and things like that of people who appear to be very successful, not understanding everything else that went into it along the way. You can't jump into somebody else's chapter 27 when you're on chapter 1 or 2. You're looking for the magic pill when you're doing that. You're looking to skip the steps. Having a successful travel business means that you have built the foundation for your marketing. It means that you understand the product that you're selling. and that you have a clear, defined process that helps your clients to buy the vacations that they want to. Okay. I'm going to call it done. Thank you so much for listening. I can't wait for next week. We've got a fabulous episode coming up next week. You're going to love it. In the meantime, this is hard. Like I said, I'm up after midnight trying to get this done because I have not had a voice for weeks. And so I needed to get this episode recorded. And so I'm doing the hard stuff because I'm committed to getting this out. I am also going to make a huge ask of you. If you have been listening to my episodes, first off, I would love to know which one's been your favorite so far. Shoot me a message in Instagram, Art of Selling Travel. You can find me on social, on Facebook, on LinkedIn. I just built a LinkedIn profile for the Art of Selling Travel. But I want to know what your favorite episode has been so far. That's going to help me to come up with new ones. I want to know if there's something that a topic that we can create and produce for you that would help you. But also too, if you love the show, could you do me a favor and rate and review? That's how more people find out about our show. And I'm not going to lie, when I started out, I think I got like 12 downloads a week. And that might have been because I had more than one device. But that's where we started. That's not where we're at. And it's because of people just like you, travel advisors just like you, who share these episodes, who tell their friends, and who do rate and review. That's how other people find us. And for that, I want to say thank you. Until next week, I will catch you on social. Come join me there. Come have fun in the DMs and let's hang out. Have an awesome day.